Police are calling it the biggest drug bust on Maryland's Eastern Shore. Nearly 90 pounds of cocaine, a large amount of guns, and thousands in cash have all been seized.
Police say the drugs were brought into the state by a Mexican cartel. 7 News Maryland Bureau Chief Brad Bell explains what led to this big bust.
This is roughly 90 pounds of cocaine intercepted by police in what is being called the biggest drug bust ever on Maryland's Eastern Shore. Maryland Governor Wes Moore even traveling to Salisbury for the press conference Tuesday to highlight the seizure of the drugs, cash, guns, and the arrests of a dozen suspects.
Who, had they not been arrested, would have continued to terrorize our communities.
The busts and seizure are the result of a year-and-a-half-long multi-county, state, and federal investigation, which Wacomico County Sheriff Mike Lewis claims will save lives across the shore, including in Ocean City.
Who knows where this much cocaine would have ended up? That's a lot of cocaine. But clearly it would have flooded the streets of this region.
What the sheriff says investigators do know for sure is where the drugs came from. And Chris Gumenis of the Federal Drug Enforcement Administration says that may be the most frightening fact uncovered during this investigation.
This dope was being supplied by the Jalisco cartel. The president has deemed them to be a foreign terrorist organization. Yes, Marylanders, you have terrorist organizations in your community.
Now, the sheriff here acknowledges that while this is a huge bust, and this is $4 million worth of drugs on this table, what he can't know is how long the Jalisco cartel has been operating here and how many drugs they've brought in, and he says to him, that's frightening. Lewis, an outspoken Republican, blames in part what he says was an unchecked flood of migrants for the cartel's arrival in Maryland. He says the driver of the truck carrying the drugs to Maryland from California is in the country illegally and now subject to an ICE detainer.
And I can tell you, when you have that many illegals crossing the border, you are bound to have hundreds and thousands of drug traffickers commingled with them who are establishing ties deep within the United States. So
the sheriff says he also knows the seized drugs may only be a fraction of what's out there and what's been imported, but he hopes the investigation has at least slowed the cartel's operation. In Salisbury, Brad Bell, 7 News.